I'm gonna talk about the when these planes began to see service. What else? When these planes saw service and their development, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna be going. I'm going to be going back and forth between the stream because I'm also gonna moderate the stream as normal.
Yeah, that'd be good. So we'll just start in a few minutes here. Wait for people to show up, and then we'll get started with the show.
Okay.
So yeah, just go ahead and prepare yourself.
Okay.
I should make the announcement on this one. They have some really good copyright-free music.
Really? You could try a fan dub.
What?
You could try a fan dub.
Oh.
Vietnam to Cold War. It should be like Korea to Cold War era fighter planes. Because the MiG-15s first saw service in Korea. And out of all these jets, only one of them saw service in three of them saw service in Vietnam.
Okay. I was just looking at the MiG-21, and
we all know MiG-21 is best.
I was just looking at MiG-21.
I saw one in real life. I saw one in real life in the museum that the Vietnamese used. It was all in Russian. Like, how did they even know what to do?
Well, the MiG. Oh, how did they? I don't know. I guess they trained.
Maybe they put little labels over stuff or something.
To be fair, I find it interesting how these things are made. They don't even have ribbons.
Yeah,
Yet they still are able to stay together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's pretty interesting.
Okay, so do you want me to start, or are we gonna do an intro?
We'll be starting in let's see, a little less than a minute. We'll start.
Okay. Just I'll let you go through the introduction.
Yeah. Alright, we'll be starting soon. This one should be more like a talk show compared to the other, so it should be good.
Yeah.
And it's Korea to Cold War era fighters, apparently.
Because technically, by technicality, Cold War was from 1947 to 1991.
Yeah.
Technically speaking.
Alright, guys. Welcome to the Daily Bro Show. Your Daily Bro Show. That's all I gotta say. But we're joined by a special guest today. We got just Lee Bass or Bronsback, whatever you guys call him. But he's gonna go ahead and just walk us through. He has a special presentation for us, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and see what he got to say, and it should be a quite interesting bro show today. So let's go ahead and just pass it on to Bronsback here, and I'm also joined by TP, and he'll be providing the fresh memes for our meme break. So Bronsback, go ahead and introduce your topic, and then we'll take a meme break round halfway through.
Okay, thanks, Gabe. Well, today we're gonna go over Cold War era Soviet fighter jets, and I'll start off with the first one, the MiG-15. This aircraft was made famous with its clashes with American F-86 Sabres in Korea. This plane was known for its good maneuverability, its great climbing rate, and its good high altitude performance. It was also very durable, and it was very durable, and its weaponry was very effective, having two 23mm cannons and one 37mm cannons. Anyway, the MiG-15 had codename was the Faga, which means hastily bundled pile of sticks, and it was the first Soviet jet to be powered by a turbojet, and it was the first one to have a swept wing in the Soviet Union. Okay, time to go into development. As the progression of turbojet fighters was steadily being made in the West, the inevitable requirement for a similar Soviet system eventually came down. This new requirement specified an aircraft designed capable of 621 miles per hour with a good rate of climb, a range of 745 miles, and restricted landing gears and takeoff distances. The new design was to take to account ease of production and maintenance to ensure it can stay in flight as long as necessary without tanking the owners to the bank. Additionally, this aircraft was to be appropriately armed and offer up to much internally in the way of its allies' counterpart, so not as to put the Soviet pilot in a disadvantage when they inevitably should meet one another. 1944 eventually brought about a certain level of respite in the Russians' war with Germany. Soviet engineers can now be allocated back to developing the indigenous turbojet designs of their own. Delayed by a number of years during the conflict, time to catch up to the West and begin productions of turbojets was the essential, with Germany, Great Britain, and the United States working on their own creations. As such, captured German planes, in particularly the Focke-Wulf TA-183, and associated German scientific minds were brought to the Soviet Union in an effort to produce an answer. Along with captured German plans, the Soviets began researching and producing their own version of the two distinct German-made axial flow turbojet engines. I'm not going to go over to that name.
Mm-hmm.
In time, these would power the early straight-wing Yak-15 and MiG-9 fighter jets, serving more as developmental education efforts than serviceable combat aircraft. Nevertheless, the information gathered from this would no doubt propel the infant Soviet jet program along. The defiant point of the program came when Mikoyan, Kimov, and Kishkin, under Soviet direction, netted a deal with the English for 25 Nien Series 1 and Series 2 engines and 30 Dwatin 5 engines. It should be noted that the blobs, yada. I was going over it because it's just talking about the engines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see. Let's get to more interesting stuff because I'm sure you guys don't want to hear me talk about this stuff.
Could I ask you a question real quick? I don't know if you'll know this, but there's something that's always interested me with the MiGs. Is it okay if I ask?
Yeah.
So, during World War II, pretty much, they were primarily using the Yak series and the LA-5 series and such. And then I know they had a MiG-3, but it wasn't really effective. How did they get from like a MiG-3 to like a MiG-15? Because it kind of jumped there, didn't it?
Because there were, if I remember correctly, there were two jets between the MiG-3 and the MiG-15. Those were the MiG-9 and I forget the other one. But both of them were straight-wing straight-wing jet fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing about it though is because Yak and Lavochkin did try making their own jet fighters, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Just
the MiG designs were much better.
Oh, okay, I see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you have the Yak-15 and you have the LA-15 and the LA-200.
Yeah.
Those were jet fighters. They just weren't as good as the MiGs.
Okay, that makes sense to me. And I noticed how the wings, they definitely change. I think that's like the biggest change over time. The plane gets skinnier and the wings change.
Well, you look, that's similar with American designs as well.
Yeah, you'll notice it. Do you know anything about the wing design of the MiG-15 and why it was chosen?
It was because this was a trend among the major world powers in developing jet aircraft, was to make a swept wing. You look at the MiG-15, look at the F-86 Sabre, look at the Hawker Hunter, and look at the Dassault Mystère. They all had swept wings because that swept wings allowed the planes to go faster.
Yeah.
And I mean much faster.
Yeah, I'm sure. All right.
Okay.
So, which MiG hit supersonic? Was it?
It can't. MiG-15 was considered to be a transonic fighter. It could not.
Yeah.
It cannot go past the speed of sound.
Well, what I was saying was which one? Which one could? I'm not
It started with the MiG-19 was the first,
really.
and I'll go into that later because
Yeah.
that's like one of my favorite airplanes of all time.
Yeah, because I was actually writing a research paper on Chuck Yeager, so I was wondering.
Okay.
So anyways, yeah,
Well,
let's go to. Yeah, go ahead and
Where
continue.
is
Sorry
it?
to interrupt you.
okay. Well, I'm just trying to find the operational service. Okay. The MiG-15s arrived to the Korean front in quantity in November of 1950. These would be operated in combat by Soviet pilots wearing Chinese uniforms and forming from Chinese air bases. Blah 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 yada yada yada. Along with an operation in defense of North Korean targets, Soviet officials were in charge of training the Chinese and the North Korean fighter pilots. Despite all this activity, the Soviet Union operated under a guise, so as not to involve itself fully in the conflict. Basically, Soviet pilots were given the freedom to operate from a line stretching from Wonsum to Pyongyang. Similarly, UN airmen were restricted from crossing the Yalu River. In the term MiG Alley, stem from the area encompassing these restrictions. While Soviet MiG-15 pilots could hold their own in a fight, the Chinese and North Korean pilots fared poor without Soviet assistance. This became an issue when Chinese and Soviet pilots flew in areas restricted to Soviet airmen, making them essentially cannon fodder for UN pilots. The first Western encounter against the MiG-15s took place on November 1st, 1950. A flight of North American P-51D Mustangs were attacked by no fewer than 6 unidentified aircraft powered by jet propulsion. These, of course, were the new MiG-15, appeared from Manchuria, crossing the Yalu and introducing themselves into the Korean War. Though the Western reports claim no losses, the Soviet claimed 1 P-51s in their after-action reports. On November 8th, brought down the first ever jet versus jet action. 6 MiG-15s tangled with a flight of Lockheed F-80 Shooting Stars. The result differed depending on side writing the account. The Western account had an F-80 downing a MiG. Soviet record shows no such kills. It was known that five of the 6 machine guns on board the F-80 had jammed. This, along with the ability of the MiG to absorb a good amount of punishment from the 50 cal ammunition, led to some to discredit the Western account. I kind of don't blame them. The MiG-15 was seen heading down to the ground in smoke, though it was believed that the aircraft had jettisoned its somewhat full fuel tanks in an effort to create a space against the F-80, eventually heading for home and not engaging the American aircraft. As such competing stories, it seems, are a necessary part of warfare. The first MiG-15 victory over a Boeing B-29 Super Fortress occurred on November 9th, 1950. The Super Fortress proved no match for the cannons of the MiG-15. The large surface area of the fortress crumpled with ease under the fire of the MiG-15's cannons. Losses were such that all the B-29s were eventually forced to suspend daylight raids indefinitely. A large psychological and strategic victory was assured won by the presence of the MiG-15s alone. And then
that's quite interesting.
Despite some successes against the new Soviet fighters, losses for the UN air campaign began to mount with little answer on what to combat the Red aerial menace. The arrival of the MiG-15 bis model only compounded that fact, as they were the highly successful MiG-15 in an improved form. The MiG-15s were pitted successfully against propeller-driven P-51 Mustang, 81 Sky Raiders, and F-4U Corsairs. Additionally, actions against the straight-wing jet-powered F-9F Panthers, F-80 Shooting Stars, and F-84 Thunderjets proved to be equally one-sided. This on top of the losses by B-29 formations forced the speedy development of an answer. This eventually come in the form of the F-86 Sabre. Though an acceptable aircraft on its own right, the North American F-86 Sabre were still outmatched on a number of fronts. The MiG-15 proved to have a better rate of climb, higher ceiling limits, and a better turn radius than her American adversary. The MiG-15 not only held a performance edge, but was a nimble fighter, also packed a greater punch with its multi-cannon armament section as opposed to the 6 machine guns of the Sabres. And then blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Okay, I'm going to just get to conclusions because you guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about this.
Yeah.
In the end, the MiG-15 proved to have nothing special inherent in its design. It was a solid aircraft that was reliable and rugged. The attention paid to making an easy-to-produce aircraft made it an easy to maintain and repair in the process. Armament was also a strong concern for the MiG-15 design, and the aircraft did not falter in this category. The machine proved to be a tremendous, capable premier jet fighter produced by the Soviet Union with a little unknown help from the Germans of World War II and British turbojet designs. The MiG-15 proved through production numbers and combat actions that it was indeed a special sort of aircraft when in capable hands and wartime tool of note produced by the Soviet Union. It only took some speedy development of the Americans to eventually put the Nibble machine in its place in Korea, but the damage has already been done. Nevertheless, the MiG-15 went on to become a classical post-war aircraft design and gave way to the MiG-17 and eventually the MiG-19 and so on.
So that's some pretty crazy stuff. So the MiG-15 you're saying was basically superior to the U.S. aircraft at the time?
The two traded off. It's like BF-109 versus Spitfire Mark 1.
Okay,
like they were.
Yeah. So that's quite
because
interesting.
The MiG was more maneuverable and a better rate of climb and a much better armament. The Sabre was slightly faster, had a better dive rate, and also had a much better low altitude performance.
All right, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's all right. So I think that's good for the MiG-15. We definitely got a lot of information in there. And then
Pretty informational.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say about that, TP?
No, I think you got it all. It's like an essay written out there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
So we have the MiG-17 now, and I haven't really heard of. Honestly, I have never heard of the MiG-17. Like I've never. MiG-15, MiG-21. That's really all I know. So
I only know the MiG-17 from its combat in Vietnam.
Okay, yeah. So
For some reason, the North Vietnamese love these things for some reason.
So what was the difference between a MiG-15 and a MiG-17 then?
Well, it was the MiG-17 had an elongated fuselage.
Oh, so it was maybe a little faster, maybe, or
It
more
was
aerodynamic.
slightly faster. It was slightly faster.
Okay. Armament-wise, it's the same. It looks like it has
It's
fuel
the
pods.
same.
Does it have fuel? What do you call them? Fuel things that are carried.
Yeah, fuel tanks.
Yeah,
Yes.
fuel tanks.
You also can mount rockets on the thing.
Okay, so maybe that's why it was better for Vietnam, perhaps, because definitely long-range fighting would have been useful.
No, its range still pale to compare to other Cold War era fighters.
But compared to the MiG-15, was it around the same, or would you say it's better?
It was better.
Okay, yeah. So
to the MiG-15.
it was still an improvement.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's
So
really
that's
not much. There's really not much I could say about the MiG-15 other than it saw combat in. I know it saw a lot of combat in India. It saw a lot of combat in Vietnam, and it saw a lot of combat in the Middle East. And I would like to talk about its combat role in Vietnam and in the Middle East.
So yeah. So we'll get to So we'll talk about the next, but we should probably take a meme break real quick.
Sure.
So TP, you got the memes for us?
I was gonna.
Yeah. Let me
And
find
then
them.
we'll come back to the topic. In the meantime, we are going to take a look at the Daily Bro Show stuff that we have posted here since. Here we go. Breaking
Let
mentions.
me look. Here we go. Here's one.
And C's Tank, you'll talk. Alright. Alright, so the memes are okay. Okay, we got some. Dog of War posted some relevant. Do you want to play? No. You're just still on the mic.
Doesn't look like there's very good ones I can find here today.
We need the
here
fresh
we go.
memes, TP.
Okay, you're okay.
We need
You
the
asked
fresh
for
memes. God.
No, well, it's not very fresh. It's actually kind of old, but
Yeah, but I've never seen it before, so that's fresh. Down. Oh, it's not up, it's just down. I don't know how many fresh memes we're gonna have.
I'm looking, but it's hard to find.
TP was supposed to find the freshest memes. I sent him on that task. That one's pretty good. That one's pretty good. Yeah. Slash bear run. For a secret. Sponge. Okay. I think that's good for Okay. That's quite interesting. Yeah, so let's go ahead. I think that was a good meme break. I think we'll go back into the topic now. So yes, Braun's back here. We'll continue telling us about where we're gonna start at the MiG-17 or MiG-19.
Right, we're still at the MiG-17 because I took longer on the MiG-15 than I would have thought.
Yeah, So to make time, we should. There's one more meme.
So I'm just gonna go over the MiG-17's operational history. That's not even a word. That's not even the technical term, but I forget it. So let's do this.
Yep. All right.
Okay. The
Like service history or something like. What is it?
I just saw that
Oh,
TP. The last one was pretty good.
Yeah. So the MiG-17 saw. I know for a fact the North Vietnamese bought a whole bunch of MiG-17s, and they actually did very well with it. I know there are a few combat missions where MiG-17s went toe-to-toe with the best American jet fighters and came out on top, actually. Because the MiG-17 was maneuverable. This thing can turn on a dime, which makes up for its horrible climbing, which makes up for its horrible speed compared to the jets it would face.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, it was just as durable as the MiG-15 had a good rate of climb, and still packed that powerful punch, which also makes up for its meh speed. Also, this was the first Soviet fighter to have this was the first Soviet. Actually, no, never mind. That's the never mind. I take that back about it being I I take that back when I say it was the first fighter to use missiles because that was actually the MiG-19. So just ignore me when I was saying that. Just ignore me.
Should we, to make time, should we go to the MiG-19? Because I know we have a lot of content to cover.
Yeah.
Let's see what. Go ahead and sum up the MiG-17 for us in like a sentence, and then we'll go to the MiG-19.
A better MiG-15.
There we go. So that's what I was thinking. But the MiG-19, they actually did some improvements, you'd say, right? The
MiG-19 is a slightly different design. It's a twin-engine Soviet jet fighter. You can't see the two engines, but it does have two engines.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first supersonic jet fighter built by the Soviet Union.
All right, yeah. So that's kind of crazy. So this was in 1954.
This thing was designed to counter the American F-100 Super Sabre.
And was that supersonic as well?
Yeah.
Alright. So was supersonic dogfight a thing? Like, did people actually fight at supersonic speeds? Or was it that they...
It's very rare.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was...
It's very rare, even now. Because most dogfights are within transonic speeds.
Yeah. But they're just longer range, I'd say.
Like, I know for the fact that there's only been one aerial victory made, but no, I know there was... I was reading this article about this F-4 Phantom pilot who got a gun kill at Mach 1.2 or something like that.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But we're getting off topic here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and continue with the MiG-19.
This thing is one of my favorite planes of all time. And that's because this thing can go supersonic speed. It's just as durable as the MiG-17 and the MiG-15. But the one thing I love most about this fighter is its maneuverability.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could tell I look into maneuverability when it comes to fighter aircraft.
Yeah, because you're a Spitfire, dude.
And so Spitfires are awesome.
There's a special place in Gulag for Spitfire. Okay.
Yep.
No, I'll just go back in exile.
No, let's not do that. Let's go back to MiG-19.
Yeah. Anyway, its weaponry is three 30mm cannons, and can carry air-to-air missiles. And this was the first Soviet plane to carry air-to-air missiles.
Mm-hmm.
It also included rocket pods, conventional bombs, and what's the other? Oh, and external fuel tanks and all that fun stuff.
All right, so that's kind of interesting. MiG-19 was in Vietnam, though, right?
Yes, but because these things saw service wherever you see the MiG-17, you also probably see MiG-19s.
Yeah, because they're about the same time period.
Yeah.
When did the Korea War end? I'm not sure.
1954. Why?
Right. Yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. I was just wondering. And then Vietnam started in 55, I think, right?
No.
Oh, no?
Vietnam started I want to say it was 1961.
Oh.
I want to say.
Was it the French who went in
The
there?
French started fighting the Vietnamese, but then they got their ass kicked.
Yeah. And was that in
That's
They
55?
gave up.
Was that in 55?
No.
Oh.
The French were fighting the Vietnamese ever since like the end of World War II, basically.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and sum up the MiG-19 for us, and then we'll go straight to the MiG-21, I believe.
It's my second favorite jet fighter.
There we go. All right, now let's give it up for the MiG-21.
Oh, I have so much to talk about this. So we only have 30 minutes.
Yeah. Go ahead and just go for it. We can always split this up into parts, and we can always go over time. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, this thing was by far the best Soviet fighter to ever be produced. If you look at this thing's record, this thing was first produced in 1959, and there are still MiG-21s in many air forces in the world.
Wait, what? This thing's still in service?
Many countries still operate these fighters.
Oh, many countries do. Okay.
But they're not like leading countries, right? I can't
No.
imagine. Okay, it's probably
There were
Like,
there were countries who still used like P-51s and stuff for so many years.
yeah.
that is true. No, but like these planes though, these planes were awesome.
I'm sure.
They
If
are.
So how do I begin with talking about the MiG-21? It was the first Soviet fighter to break Mach 2,
Dang.
and its weapon and this Soviet fighter also were equipped with was the first Soviet plane to be equipped. No, not the first. This Soviet plane was also equipped with radar guided missiles. And if you look at its design, you'll notice its wings are different from most other Soviet aircraft beforehand. It had what they call a delta wing, which is essentially a triangle. And the delta wing gave the plane a much better control at high altitude. Not at higher speeds, I meant.
Oh, okay, I see.
But which is ironic because the MiG-21 actually was very sluggish at high speeds.
Yeah.
Under 400 miles per hour, this thing was a very deadly. Under 400 miles per hour. That's why when these things clash with the F-4 Phantoms in a dogfight, if the Phantom is going at the slow speed, you are dead.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah.
And these things were also cheap to build. And they were cheap to build, and they were actually very effective. The first time these things saw combat was in the Indo-Pak War between India and Pakistan, where the MiG-21s were fighting against American F-86, Pakistani Hawker Hunters, F-86, and F-105 starfighters. And the MiG-21s obviously did very well against all of these fighters. However, it's funny because an F-86 did manage to down one of them, which I still find hilarious.
Well, I mean, F-86, it wasn't. Because F-86 didn't have missiles.
No,
This was.
but Gabe, this is like missiles in the 1960s.
Yeah, I know they didn't really
most-
work, but
Yeah.
I remember the F-4 Phantom. It was all missiles, and I know a lot of.
No, the Phantom was the worst when it came to missiles.
Yeah.
Because the AIM-7 Sparrow legit would not work in that jungle environment.
Yeah.
And the AIM-9, you have to maneuver to get on the opponent's 6 in order to fire that thing.
Yeah.
Guess what? The Phantom's a flying brick.
Yeah. I just remember I was watching some documentaries on it, and they were complaining that they'd shoot the missile, but it just either fall off or it just wouldn't.
They didn't have a gun.
Yeah, and they really complained about that because they couldn't shoot down the fighters. They just had to. But then I think they brought back the gun with later stuff.
Yeah, it was the D and the E variant that had 20mm cannon.
And they
Anyway, we're getting off topic because I really want to talk about the MiGs over in the Middle East.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on. Yeah.
Because the Arabs loved the MiGs. The Arabs loved the MiGs because they were durable and they were cheap.
Yep.
So when the Arabs and the Israelis began to fight, as they always do, the MiG-21s had to face one of the best air forces in the world. And however, it's kind of sad actually because the MiGs got absolutely slaughtered by the Israelis using the Mirages.
Yeah.
And it's actually hilarious that how badly the Arabs got beaten. I remember reading this. I remember watching this video about this Iraqi pilot who defected to the Israelis, and he brought a MiG-21 with him, and that's one of the reasons why the Israelis developed proper fighting tactics against it.
Yeah,
it was because of that. So that was an interesting thing. Ooh, MiG-19.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm just watching the stream as well.
Yeah. Someone posted a really nice video, and I kind of wanted to play it while you were talking over your stuff.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna talk about the MiGs over in Vietnam. So basically, the MiGs had a hit and run style of combat, where the MiGs would come in fast, down the American F-105 Thunder Chiefs before the Phantoms could respond.
Mm-hmm.
And this worked. This would work very well for the Vietnamese, as many as the F-105s could not put up a fight because they were slower,
Yeah.
because they had 25 bombs on them.
Yeah. So it's pretty much like hit and run tactics, right?
Yeah.
That's
The
kind
problem was the Phantoms were the problem with the MiG-21s was the Phantoms were able to respond to the MiG-21s a lot of the times. If you look, because the problem with the thing about the MiG-21, the Phantom was faster, and it had a much better acceleration.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at videos on if you're watching the Vietnam War air combat documentary, you always see the Phantoms are always able to escape the enemy fighters.
Yeah.
Unlike the MiGs, which oftentimes get shot down.
Now the Phantoms also had radar capabilities, I believe. So.
The MiGs also have that.
But I don't think it wasn't as long
It's-
range, was it?
It was.
Oh, it was.
Well, because the Russians had much better radar heat-seeking missiles, while the Americans had better radar-guided missiles.
That's interesting. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and continue
Anyway.
on. Yeah.
You want me to conclude it?
Yeah, and we could talk about some of the Middle East fighters because I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Well, the main ones were the MiG-17 to the MiG-21, because after that the conflicts in the Middle East began to die down around the Levant.
Yeah. So I don't know, the MiG-23. I don't know why, but it really just stands out to me. The MiG-21, like when looking at all these pictures here, the MiG-23 just looks the weirdest to me, and the MiG-27.
To be fair, the MiG-23 is also the only Soviet jet to have variable swept wings.
What does that mean? Like
You know how the F-14 can
like
you know how the F-14 can move its wings up and down, not
I
up and
never-
down, back and forth.
I never knew that. So this one can do that?
Yes, and it's because this plane was designed for ground attack.
That's interesting. Okay.
Or
So,
something on the MiG-27.
all right, so that's
Both
cool.
of them have the same name
So
because they're both called Flogger.
yeah. So that's kind of cool. The MiG-29 just looks like a rocket. I don't know why. It just looks like a rocket to me.
This thing looks like a much better design much better design F-15. But I want to go over the Foxbat, the MiG-25.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
This was the fastest fighter jet in the world.
Wait, it still is, or?
It still is. Mach 3.1. The only plane that is faster than the MiG-25 is the SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3.4.
That's not even a fighter though, so.
I know. The Foxbat is the fastest fighter in the world.
Actually, I have a hat that has the SR-71 on it.
Yeah.
I'm just
No,
saying.
This thing, you know how we were talking about how the Phantom didn't have a gun?
Yeah, this thing didn't have a
This
gun
thing
either.
had this thing also had the same problem.
Oh, I can see why. I mean, if you're fighting at such high speeds, a gun just wouldn't work, wouldn't it?
No, it would. It would be useful because the Iraqis love using these things, but they would also have a hard time
But when,
shooting down their Iranian enemies.
but wouldn't you be traveling? Like, if you shot your guns at like Mach 3, wouldn't you just run into your own bullets?
Here's the
because they
thing.
would also be traveling.
Yeah, but because of air resistance, wouldn't they slow down before? I mean, maybe they'll go out of the way by
Yes,
then.
they
But
would.
like,
Yes, they would, obviously.
yeah, I'm thinking. So maybe that's why. I mean, I think it could be dangerous, possibly, to put guns on it.
I mean, not only are they going at Mach 3 though, but they also have the power of just the explosion of the bullet anyway. behind
Yeah,
them.
but like what I'm saying is there's air drag. The bullets will slow down very rapidly, or they'll just deform. I mean, I don't know. Like, Can bullets handle Mach 3? I'm sure they can, but it's just
I
something to
don't
keep
know.
in
That's
mind.
actually confusing.
Yeah, I don't know this stuff.
That's okay. As I was going on, if I can remember correctly, these things, I don't know why the Iraqis love these things, but they did. And these things fought against Iranians F5s in the Iraqi-Iranian War, or was it the Iranian-Iraq War? Hold on, I'm gonna look this just so people don't yell at me for confusing the names of these
I don't think anyone's gonna yell
of
at
these two countries, because I know the two hate each other like cats and dogs. Don't tell them I said that.
It's okay.
I just gotta.
So TP, go ahead and talk to us here.
About what?
TP, just talk to us. Conversation.
Yeah, Iran-Iraq War.
Iran-Iraq War. Okay.
Okay, and also these things would fight against American F-15s and F-14s and F-16s in the Persian Gulf War, where these things got annihilated.
All right.
By the superior American pilots.
So
I say pilots because Russian aircrafts tend to have much better airframes. Just the chaining is short.
Because Mach 3, I mean, that's kind of crazy. That's a really high speed.
The thing was a flying brick, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, turning at Mach 3, I just don't know if it's...
I remember, do you know one of the reasons why they developed the F-22?
I don't. I don't know much about modern day jets. So that's why
Because basically, the Israeli reported an incident where this plane outsped the F-4 Phantom. So the Americans got freaked out because they're thinking, "Oh my God, there's going to be more of these things."
Mm-hmm.
So they try to come up with new ways to make a fighter to combat these new Soviet aircrafts.
Yeah.
And the birth child was the F-22.
Ah, so that's kind of cool.
And next is the MiG-29, also known as the Fulcrum. This is probably one of the most advanced fighter jets in the Soviet arsenal. It's still used today by the Russians. This thing had superior maneuverability to the F-15 and the F-16, but was slower, if I can remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually don't know too much about this because I also want to get into the Sukhois.
Should we go into that right now with our remaining time?
Do you want to take a break or what?
I
mean, it's your show, not mine.
Yeah. So TP, is there any more fresh memes for us? I think we're out of fresh memes.
Let me check.
God.
We'll check the meme auction house right now, but I think that's good.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of them.
All right, let's take a look.
Also, might want to get some photos of various Sukhois.
Yeah, I got some Sukhois.
Those are MiGs.
All right, so I thought this
In
one.
fact, I can probably name all of them on there, which is actually very sad.
Alright, so Star Wars The Force Awakens. An interracial couple gets chased by a man with a burning cross. Okay.
That movie sucked.
Yeah,
Just saying.
it was alright. Breaks my heart to see people eat alone. It's John Cena. That one's just weird. We need fresh memes, TV. I need to scroll down more.
Oh, okay.
Is the meme auction? Are we
Bloody
out?
hell?
I can't look at this picture anymore. Ooga booga. That's not a meme. We need memes, not just edgy stuff.
Not stupidity.
Oh look, that's the shirt that I had.
Here we go. Live what? Wait, what? No, lame-o y'all. / game mode 1. Alright, thank you for those edgy memes. If you play this on stream, I don't know what this is. I always hate clicking on random links 'cause I don't know what it is. Albanian national anthem. We can't play that on the stream. Well, I'll get in trouble for that. We can't do that. But I just, yeah. I don't want to get like striked. I actually know someone got striked for it, so we're not gonna. All right, anyways, when your mom.
Oh, okay. By the way, when I was saying early war, when I was saying Sukhois, I meant like early war, like early Sukhois, like Sukhoi 7, 9, 11, 17, 20. And I forget the other number.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever you guys want to cover, I got them all. I got them all.
Oh god.
It seems we still got some more fresh memes here.
Oh no.
Harder, Daddy. What?
Help us. Someone help us. Help me.
Harder, Daddy. What? What?
I think this one here is pretty funny. When your mom adds you on Snapchat, good morning, watering my plants.
Oh,
shoot,
God.
what is this? When your Minecraft girlfriend. Alright, next one. Are you a fire alarm? Because you are really. It was not copyright? I don't know. Are you sure? I don't know. Sometimes YouTube counts playing that kind of stuff as offensive. Like any national anthem. I don't know. Or maybe it doesn't. Because I remember someone sent me a video. But I guess it was the ISIS national anthem. I don't know. So, what's this?
This is actual torture, is what this is.
This is like every Minecrafter's mod.
I hate. Oh, this is torture.
Okay, what's this one? What higher?
It's Anakin.
Yeah, I get it. It's over.
That's all that I can find that are
Okay,
decent.
I think
Oh
that's
my god.
I think that's good for our fresh memes. I kind of want to click it.
Don't you dare.
We'll just listen to like 2 seconds of it. Cause I'm kind of curious. It's like an orchestra. That's interesting.
What national anthem is this? Oh, for what country?
The Albanian.
Albania.
So, all right, that's kind of cool. So I got some SUs pulled up. I have the Sukhoi. I think they're all the same.
Those are the newer Sukhois. You have
Yeah.
a photo of the Sukhoi 7, 9, 11, 17? No, you don't.
Yes, yeah, Sukhoi what? Sukhoi 17.
The Sukhoi 9, 7, 9, 11, and 17. Why?
9 and 17. Got you.
I'm not even gonna bother.
Sukhoi 7. I have
Also,
a Sukhoi.
I like
It's a little. Here,
Also, if you compare, can you tell the difference between a Sukhoi 7 and a MiG-21?
They look maybe they look pretty much the same. I mean, but the wings seem a bit more narrow to me, or like
The
sharp.
MiG-21 has the delta wing that we were talking about earlier. The Sukhoi 7 has the swept wing.
That's what I was.
Also, actually no, they both have the bow canopy. If I could remember correctly, the Sukhoi 7 was a ground attack aircraft, I want to say. If I'm remembering correctly. Don't quote me on that.
It's alright. So Sukhoi, he says ground attack. I see. Looks like it has bombs on it. Yeah.
No, those are fuel tanks.
He said, I mean, they're bombs when you put a cigarette to it and drop it. Okay.
They look like fuel. Actually, no. They look like those like sensors you see on airplane. They look like sensors to me.
Probably. There's something. So Sukhoi 7. So pretty much it's just a ground attack, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, this thing also had a gun.
Oh, it did. Yeah, I can. Yeah, I see the gun. What was
Yeah,
it?
it had. I'm looking that up right now because I forget. 2 30mm cannons.
So that's pretty good.
Yeah. Next is the Sukhoi 9. Fun fact: this thing did not have a gun, and they look practically the same. And the thing is, while the Sukhoi 7 was designed for ground attack, the Sukhoi 9 was designed for intercepting. So I still don't get why these things don't have a gun, but Soviet designs.
Yeah.
Like I
Not
said,
always the greatest.
that's not it. No, that's not it. The one to the right. Yep, that's the guy. Actually, no, yeah. Tell the difference between the Sukhoi 9 and the MiG-21.
The wings look. I mean, it's competition. You just got to do the same thing your opponent does, but just add a little bit more shininess or something. You know, add colorization.
I know. I just love how like the two practically look the same. I just love that about these planes. It's just like slight differences with the wing and the tail and the rudder. It's hilarious how similar these two things look.
Yep. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So yeah, is there these were being developed at around the same time probably then, I'd imagine.
They were.
Yeah.
The Sukhoi, they were around. I know the Arabs also loved using these things, especially the Jordanians, I should say. And they were used mostly for ground attack, if I can remember correctly. The Israelis still, kick their arses because the Israelis are some of the best pilots in the world.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane how good of pilots the Israelis are.
I mean, they have to be. I mean, if they're not good pilots, then they can't survive.
I mean, you would know about that.
Yeah. But it's a good thing. So, let's continue on before we offend the whole world.
Well, next is the Sukhoi 11, which also only had missiles and was basically a Sukhoi 9 with a much better engine and radar.
Yeah, from what I can see, it looks a lot like a Sukhoi 9. Except that it's red. It has red tip.
No, that's just the cover they put on the plane so that nothing gets into the engine, the intake, I should say.
Yeah,
next is the Sukhoi. Basically, you get the idea with these Sukhois on how they are meant for ground attack.
Yeah.
So let's get to the interesting stuff. The Sukhoi 27, the flanker.
Oh yeah,
this thing is one of my favorite. This thing is a plane which I would love to see in real life.
I'm looking at some of the pictures of it in real life. It looks sick. Damn.
I know. This thing is the most maneuverable jet in the world.
I can see why. These
things are now. The Russians are beginning to produce these things now in larger numbers. Also, branching from the family is the Sukhoi 30, the Sukhoi 33, and the Sukhoi 35.
That's cool.
Basically, the Sukhoi 7 is for air superiority. The Sukhoi 30 is, I want to say, for intercepting, but don't quote me on that. I know the 35 is for...
So is this a modern plane?
Ground attack?
This is a modern plane, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So this is like currently in service and probably Russia and stuff.
Imagine the weaponry on an F-15, and that's what the Sukhoi 30, that's what the Sukhoi flanker series has.
So yeah,
let's see, the Sukhoi 33 is either a naval interceptor or a bomber. And then the Sukhoi 35 is either the naval interceptor or a bomber.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. There's actually, I just remember someone was trying to tell me about this game. I've done some reviews on it, but it's called Strike Fighter. It's on the mobile. But they actually feature...
yeah, I play it.
Yeah, they feature all these planes here. Although I criticize the game a lot for what it is, but...
Because it's very arcadish.
Yeah, but it's not terrible. But they do feature it. Yeah, I enjoyed it for a bit too. And I'm sure I can get back.
I want to get because the next plane is technically not Cold War era.
That's fine.
But I still want to go over it because it's freaking awesome.
What is
the
it?
Sukhoi 57 or the T-50.
How did they get to a 27 to 57? Dang,
I
this
mean, to
thing
be
looks.
fair, there's also a Sukhoi 47, but I don't get its design.
This thing looks really cool as well.
Yeah. Also, if you want, look up the Sukhoi 47, and you'll see what I mean by it's a weird design.
Yeah, let's do that. Sukhoi 47.
This thing is basically the fifth generation, the Russian fifth generation fighter.
That is a really
This thing is
yeah.
designed to combat the F-22.
What is this thing?
So,
They have a
if I remember
Blackie
correctly, they
plus.
haven't actually started producing these things yet because they're having problems with the avionics. But it is said that this thing could shoot down a Eurofighter before the Eurofighter even sees it.
Dang.
I mean, that's probably just propaganda, but I mean, it
No.
could.
These things are advanced.
So,
Like these things are actually like very advanced.
how do they compare to what we have, the Americans?
It's far superior than the F-35 in terms of fighting. In terms of the F-22, it's even because its flight performance is still unknown to us right now.
Yeah, I can imagine so. I guess yeah. So that's kind of cool though. I mean, in a way, I don't know, like how far
It's
planes
also-
have gone.
It also has stealth technology, so that's another bonus.
Yeah.
And
Could you
this thing, though, the problem right now with the Sukhoi is they're working on the avionics of the thing. The problem is it's not going so well.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what is more. So in your opinion, what's working better, the MiGs or the Sukhois? Because what I'm seeing, the Sukhois, they just look very advanced, but the MiGs, it looks like they kind of redlined, or I don't know.
Well, comparing the MiG-29 to the Sukhoi 27, because both of them came around at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
the Sukhoi is much better. But if you compare like the Sukhoi 9 to the MiG-21, the MiG-21 is better than the Sukhoi 9.
Okay. Yeah, so that's
So it
that's
depends
pretty
on
cool.
the aircraft.
Yeah. So that's just pretty interesting stuff. Yeah.
As soon as I clicked on YouTube, my Russian bias detector almost. That's funny.
Yeah. That's
What?
why someone's Russian bias detectors.
I mean, I'm thinking
I
thinking
could-
of doing American jets later. I might ask you for that, or British jets, preferably.
I think it'd be cool to bring you back on the show, and you can talk about like all these different nations, because I don't know much about these modern jets, so it's good that someone's here to teach it to me.
Maybe one of these days we can do World War One, but like
Yeah,
I would have
World
to
War I.
actually research that.
Yeah, so that's pretty
Like most of
interesting.
these planes, I did have to research.
So I have a few questions for you before we wrap everything up. So what's the paint camo on it? Like, is there a purpose of it? Does it help with something? Is it like some optic illusion? Or is it just to look cool?
I think it's just a part of it is to look cool. A part of it is a camouflage to the snowy mountainous environment that these things are in.
Wait, send me a picture.
Well, it's on the stream. Oh wait, he's probably not watching the stream.
TP,
No.
click on the stream, TP.
Okay, let me find it.
This one here just looks cool. I think that one was just for night fighting.
No, I think because I want to say it's camouflage for the Russian environment, which it's oh, the Sukhoi 47.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean they put an eagle
Maybe
on it.
maybe that paint job has something to do with like a radar.
I
Maybe
don't know.
it might be like the F-35, where it's just the color and the material.
I know they use anti-reflectant paint, so there's no reflectance of light from the sun. But just the pattern on it, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like I'm sure it has some kind of camo purposes, but I guess camo doesn't really matter anymore much because you got radars to do all the work. I mean, it's not like a point.
You'll be surprised.
Yeah, and I heard about I don't know. I'm pretty sure a lot of countries have this technology now, but or maybe it's new. I'm not too sure about it, but I knew that there's these helmets that I don't know if they're in working condition or not, but there's these helmets, and all you gotta do is just look at the target, and your missiles lock onto it. Have you heard about those?
That is.
There's this thing where the planes, the F-35, have cameras all over them, and there's like this
Yeah.
virtual reality thing in the pilot's helmet, and you can look through the airplane
Yeah.
and stuff.
There's a lot of
Yeah, that
crazy
is
stuff
new.
going on with air technology, and I think honestly, I think the Air Force is gonna be like the
Honestly,
predominant factor.
I think because I think the Navy should develop its own dedicated interceptor. I think that's the one thing the F-35 is not going to do very well is intercepting.
But I mean, I can't imagine well, yeah.
The Navy
okay.
would need
Yeah.
the Navy would need an interceptor more than any of the other branches.
Yeah, because I guess it could land. It has like carriers and stuff. It could.
Yeah,
No.
you have to defend those carriers. They cost billions upon billions of dollars.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. So if you guys have any questions for the people out in the comment, you can either leave it in the stream chat or you can put it in the Daily Bro Show. But as far as that goes, is there anything you'd like to sum up for us, Lee Bass, or do you think you've got it all? Or is it
Russian jets are known for their durability and the fact that they are very cheap.
Mhm.
Also, they're known for their maneuverability, which is why I like them.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean,
Because you know how much I love turn and burn tactics.
yes. There's a special place for people who like Spitfires. So I actually made a new design. I don't know if I'm gonna release it or not, but this is basically the new design.
You should release it just because it's
Yeah.
Spitfire.
I think I'll release it, and I don't know how long it'll be up on the site for. But
Spitfires are awesome.
yeah, I want to get a Yak 9 one. We'll see. But yeah, so this is just an early look at the t-shirt. I just feel like something's missing from it. I don't know. I feel like I fixed
Put
it
like
pretty
Bros Films on there or something.
Or maybe have the Spitfire, or maybe have maybe have like the image itself like larger.
Yeah, that's as large as I could get it. I mean,
Okay.
I could try it. That yeah, that's what I was like. If you saw the
Yeah, I
first picture of
I
it.
said to put it larger too, because it's tiny.
Yeah, but we do have some people here in the chat who are saying so.
Russian jets are known for being super biased and having big missiles.
Yes. And someone's like, regards. Right. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Bros Show. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and release this design after I hear back from some people. So it'll be available, and if you feel like supporting the channel just through like wearing it, that's one way to do it. And yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up today's Bro Show. Tomorrow we'll have another Bro Show. We're gonna be planning
Hopefully
that.
with a new guest.
Yeah, we'll be planning that all day. So it should be a good Bro Show. All of our Bro Shows, oh shoot, I just left the call. All of our Bro Shows they're good. They're good Bro Shows. We don't fool around here on the Daily Bro Show. But we get you guys your daily bro news. Anything that's happening. We get
So
out.
when's the next time you're gonna stream War Thunder?
Okay, that is a bro show besides War Thunder stream. I don't know. I'll probably download it tonight or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot you deleted the game.
Yeah. Well, I wiped my computer, and War Thunder. I was like, it can go with it, you know.
Did you also? Let me guess. You also deleted IL-2.
What was that?
Let me guess. You also deleted IL-2.
Show us IL. Oh, IL-2 is still there. Look at this. I actually reinstalled IL-2. IL-2
Okay.
I actually like, but I don't play it enough to get good at it.
Yeah, by the way, this guy on the stream also says I have a set plan on to YouTube. I think I will submit my first vid. Good job. Just read the YouTube comment.
Yeah. Yeah, you can always post your first YouTube vid. We'll always view them. Yesterday we reviewed a lot of my older vids and talked about the neighborhood war, and we'll talk more about that And then coming up on
I still wonder what the hell, like,
Yeah.
what type of sadistic neighborhood did you grow up in?
It wasn't a rough neighborhood compared to a lot of others. It was like a friendly rough, you know, like just a bunch of crazy people.
A friendly neighborhood when you're getting shot at.
Like I said, crazy people. But
That concerns me.
yeah, but it was quite interesting. I had a pretty fun childhood. Tons of injuries. Holy shit! I'm like thinking back on it. I'm just wondering how I made it to this point. But yeah, guys, we'll be covering a lot of this stuff. I think on the next bro show we'll be so on tomorrow's bro show, guys, we're gonna be covering the time I built a car and we went down the hill and we crashed it. And it's not a real car, but it's like a really cool toy car and how we made it and everything. And it's a very interesting story. So we'll be discussing that on the next bro show tomorrow at 8:00 a.m. Eastern time. I hope to see you all guys there on that bro show because I don't know, it's your daily bro show, guys. Just
Oh yeah, by the
eat
way,
breakfast.
this guy wants a shout out. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah. Shout out to all you guys who come to these bro shows because I appreciate it. All right, so I think that's it for today's bro show. TP, say some last words for us.
Come back next time.
There we go. So
Okay.
you guys heard it from the man. We'll see you guys in the next bro show, and also keep your wish list on this thing. Check it out. And that's pretty much it. We'll see you guys on the next bro show tomorrow, 8:00 a.m. Eastern.
Okay.